Here we have another behind the scenes of Neva dragging Jocelyn. We have Neva looking at Margaret in Brian's office. And we have Neva looking quite ominous on the front steps to the insane asylum. And we have the same pose here of Neva in a hallway. The last character is Oliver Kirkbride. And so Kirkbride is the last name to Margaret as well. So this is the older and deceased brother of Margaret, played by Spaghetti. Spaghetti, that. So he is only ever on screen once in the 7th video, 7 o'clock Daydream. And players don't ever think that that's him. He's referred to several times, especially in the 5th video. Here it's very difficult to see, but he is here as a ghost. So I took a picture of Spaghetti, and I had erased all the background and stuff, and I kept just Spaghetti, and pasted that there. It's beautiful. But Oliver's intention is just for Margaret to be happy. He just wants Margaret to be safe, and he wants Margaret to get better, and hopes that she can do that. Margaret also hallucinates his voice several times. I've been mentioning a few titles of videos, and I'm going to talk about a few of them. The first one is 2 o'clock Danielle. Again, the name Danielle, it's very important. This one is very puzzle heavy. It's the 2nd video, and it revolves around a chessboard. This video was very fun to film because River and I had to teach Beth how to play chess. There's only one song that plays in this, and it's Danielle, very fitting. Danielle and Margaret talk about their lives, and Margaret posits the idea. Danielle posits the idea of Margaret escaping the insane asylum. The way this puzzle works is based off the order in which the pieces move. I have this image here, which the bottom 2 rows are labeled with digits, and the top 2 rows are labeled with digits. To get the player to think about that this is a chessboard, I have on the outside 8, a 3, an H, an A, and an F to represent the rows and files of a chessboard. This puzzle was very fun to create because I had initially did it all in my brain, but then it was too complicated and I couldn't imagine it very well, so I asked Ryan, hey Ryan, can I get a chessboard here? And then I made the puzzle so much faster using the chessboard. It was very fun to create. There's actually kind of a story within here. At the very Danielle consistently plays aggressive. She makes the widest possible moves, and Margaret plays incredibly defensive, moving 1 or maybe 2 spaces at a time. And there's a moment where there's a single move that Margaret can make because she's in check, and that is to capture the queen with her king. And this gives Margaret the confidence to make wider and more aggressive moves. So there is a story to this. I had premiered this game last night, and someone had gotten to this point and noticed that this is a peculiar game from both sides. Black opens with French defense, the white oak plays with a non-standard bishop b5, the burn invitation, only to be met by the equally uncommon c5. This position was reached in this game in 1988, leading to a victory for black, but it's probably more likely that this is a reference to the chess puzzle from the Drive Link. I thought this was incredibly funny because, again, I premiered this the day before, and someone was already here and thinking about a game from 1988. Overanalyzing the strategies behind this, I thought it was very fun. The next video is 5 o'clock Shadow. This one was very editing heavy. It's a 13-minute long video. There is only one visual, and that is the corner of part of the Parker stage. There are several songs that are played here, like Oliver, I Can't See Anything, I Can't Feel Anything, and Danielle. And this video is when Margaret is put inside an isolation room and hallucinates several sounds, like carts moving down the halls with clothes inside them, and the voices of Danielle and Oliver. At the end, she leaves, and Danielle kind of drags her out of the isolation room. This one was very fun to edit. So there's a lot of audio puzzles in here. The next video is 8 o'clock sharp. This was very filmmaking heavy. I had to use shot reverse shot a lot here, which is when there's two camera angles and and they flip from one to the other. It revolves around a conversation between Margaret and the warden. Margaret is offered some medicine to help her manage her schizophrenia. She's then prompted to throw it away by Danielle, who appears towards the end. And players, once they get to the point, assume that she does. And that's it. The next video is 9 o'clock electric. This one's very emotionally heavy. This is the first video that I had edited, and I'm very thankful for that because I had created the atmosphere of electric shock therapy so effectively that I made myself cry. I had showed it to Leo, and I don't remember, did I make you cry?
Probably.
Yeah, this one was very difficult to edit. This one was very difficult emotionally. She's brought to electric shock therapy. The songs Chitter Chatter and The Warden play here. It was also fun to film because I had my phone recording the fitness room, and River and I were inside the fitness room with a flashlight. So yeah. The last video I'm going to talk about is 801 Triumph. All the other videos use the classic a clock ending, but this is the only one that uses something else. And that's because this is a secret 13th video that is quite difficult to find. This is where the credits are played. The song's departure and roll credits are played. Margaret is freed after some time in the asylum and learns to cope with the loss of Oliver. She rejects Danielle's help and writes the Ode to Redwater in her journal. So there's a lot of times being thrown around here, and that's because of Redwater's format. Redwater begins right here at 1 o'clock rising. This is the one video that will be public for everyone to play. And it starts there, and it goes to a Google Drive link, and goes to 2 o'clock Danielle, and moves around and around the circle until players get to 12 o'clock Redwater. Very fitting name, I would think. And then they solve that and get to a Google Drive here, and they go right back to 1 o'clock rising. This is supposed to represent what it's like to be in an insane asylum. At this point, 8 o'clock sharp, Margaret rejects the medicine, and she rejects the abilities for other people to help her. And so she leaves the insane asylum without the ability to get the help that she needs. And she inevitably comes back. That's how the game works. There's only one way to escape, and that is to assume that she does take the pills. And that if she does, by doing that is rejecting Danielle's help. And if you do take your pills, right, if you take care of yourself, you can escape anything. Whenever you're in a mental crisis, if you're feeling down about yourself, there's only one thing that you can do, and that is to help yourself. I think that's beautiful, and I spent a lot of time thinking about that as the format of an endless loop, infinitely going around the loop. I don't know. The puzzles within the game, I'm going to talk a bit about a few of them. This is the first puzzle that everyone will see. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but there's 2 columns, one here with 1s and 0s, and a single 1 here for some reason, and some digits here. And then there's this one with a colon and 2 slashes that is tied to the 1. This is kind of the format that I will use for several puzzles, some sort of grid to communicate exactly what I need from people. There's this one called scanning. What would you do here? Spectrogram, yes, exactly. But you don't know what it says. But then there's this one here called attention span. And then what would you do there?
Morse code.
Morse code, yes, exactly. So, briefly, I'm going to talk about the challenges that I had faced while creating this game. The thing that I had thought was going to be the trickiest was casting. I was deeply afraid of finding the perfect person for each role. But all I needed to do was ask, and each person that I had asked was incredibly helpful and incredibly dutiful to helping me out with my project. and I consistently think about if there could have been anyone better for each of those roles, and I don't think that there would have been. Scheduling was also an issue for me because the first day when I had wanted to do the debrief day where we would record voice lines, not everyone came, and so I had to ask people to record voice lines on their own time, and I was incredibly insistent that I get them in time and that they would be perfect. Especially in February break, I had kind of I still feel bad for making Beth record lines several times. Editing was difficult a few times. I had Justin playtest my game, and he realized that there were a few editing mistakes in the first, second, and fifth videos, and so I had to remove them off of YouTube and edit them and then put them back onto YouTube. There were a few times where I had missing voice lines, and so my organization wasn't completely 100%, but I had to work around them. And I decided, yeah, they're just fine. Those lines in particular are just fine to scrap. I can deal with that myself. Yeah. So I'm going back to my essential question: how can I create a compelling story about an insane asylum through the medium of an alternate reality game? There's a very simple answer, like this. This is how I make an ARG about an insane asylum. But there are lots of elements that go into creating this game. The first one was time management. I had to consider, okay, when is a good time to film? When is a good time to record lines? When is a good time for me to, can I afford to edit videos now, or or do I need to make puzzles? Like what videos are linked to Google Drives at the moment? And so it was very key that I kept it organized, and I had managed my time very well. My organization was maybe not incredibly. It was very good. Cause anytime where I was bored, I didn't really know what to do, I would use my time organizing my computer to make sure that I knew exactly where everything was. I had all the images that I needed for this exhibition, and I had things I wanted for my trifold, or images I needed for the actual game itself. What really helped me throughout this time was an unwavering motivation. There was never a moment during this time where I felt that I would hate this project. And so that is like my biggest tip for any of the juniors and anyone that is not a senior, that when you decide your senior project, it needs to be something that you will undoubtedly love doing. Because if that is the case, then you will enjoy it and you'll put out your best work. I believe that creating this game allowed me to redefine what media is to me. Originally, it was just a method of watching things. It was a method of entertainment, but now it's become more of a method of storytelling, a method of teaching people what exactly the world needs to understand. I need people to understand that taking care of themselves is deeply important, especially in the world nowadays. I also want to talk about the word compelling, because it's a very subtle word in my essential question. Compelling is an entirely subjective word. I believe my game is very compelling because I am tied to this game by the heart. I'm tied to this game, and I love watching the videos and I love looking at all the details, but there's only one way to know whether it's compelling or not. And that is for people to actually play the game. Now we get to watch the first video. Could we have the lights, please, Tiago? So the first video, watch out for any puzzle elements. It's so good.
You got it.
It's really dark, but it's better seen on a laptop screen. you have one question. How can I play Red Water? Here it is.
All right, if you could stop the recording.
Hi, Justin.
All right, so this is the point at which the panel is